Okay. And once you completed the masters, did you go towards RBC again, or what was the process for that?
3 months before I was graduating, I started applying, and at that time, RBC did not extend any full time offer. Although I did a good job at co op, they did not have a position at that time. So I started applying elsewhere as well. Initially, there were lots of rejections as expected. In fact, at one time, it actually got very depressing as well because I thought that if I have a co op experience, that will help me land jobs. But I was still getting rejections to my surprise. It's tricky how job postings work because on LinkedIn, many companies would just post fake jobs, I would
Yeah.
say, just to show they're doing good enough, when in fact there's
Yeah.
no actual opening. And sometimes
Yeah.
recruiters would just ghost you for no other reason. And there were also lots of other
Yeah.
cases when I actually screwed up during the interviews. But I think with more and more failed interviews, it only highlighted the weak areas and gave me more opportunity to work on those. And I think it was the very last week of my graduation of my master's degree when I had three interviews at three different companies, and I absolutely nailed all three of them and got offers
Yeah.
from all three of them. Interestingly, a week later, my co op employer RBC also got back to me and told me that, hey, we have an opening now. Are you interested to join? So at that point, I had four different offers to choose from. It was definitely quite a dilemma to choose between four options, but I think it was a good problem to solve. And at that point, I decided to go with TELUS because although my experience at RBC was good, was definitely good, but I felt that RBC being a big company, it has a lot of organizational hierarchy, lots of bureaucracy, and it wasn't the very fast-paced kind of environment that I was actually looking for. TELUS, on the other hand, although it was a big national level organization, but again, the department I actually joined at TELUS was more like a incubation hub for AI. It was literally the best of both worlds. It has the resources of a big company, but the fast pace and excitement of working in a startup. So because of that very reason, I decided to join TELUS. And yeah, I think overall the experience at TELUS was really great.
Awesome. No, it's a good problem to have when you have four offers, right?
Yeah.
But I guess like how did you maintain that positive attitude till the very end? Because a lot of people like you're focusing on studying, you probably got some other activities going around and you're just having that positive attitude. Okay, keep learning from the interviews that are getting rejected. And you mentioned it was so close to the end of your graduation. So how did you maintain that positive mindset right up till graduation?
To be honest, on one hand, I was getting depressed because of the failed
Yeah.
interviews, but at the same time, I was also looking at the average statistic of students who had graduated before. And I saw that, okay, on average, people are telling me that, okay, it took them 4 to 6 months to find a job in Canada. And that was in the pre COVID times. So I thought that, okay, maybe I'm not doing that bad of a job and maybe it's just part of the process. After every failed interview, just note down what you did good and what you did bad, focus on your weak areas, and then come back stronger. So I think that mindset really kept me going.
That is an excellent point because I feel like a lot of people they do the interview and then they just move on with their lives. But actually reflecting on the interviews, I feel that's been even useful for me and it's a very good point to bring up.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, because I was interviewing for a technical job in a sense,
Yeah.
and on one hand you have behavioral or HR based interviews, and then you have coding and technical interviews as well. When I analyzed the technical or coding interviews, it's the famous 80-20 Pareto rule, right? And I saw that most of the times the questions or the concepts were actually repeating. And if I
Yeah.
only focus on that 20% of the concepts or questions, it would have had a huge impact. And that was the thought process that, okay, let's not try to do hard work, let's work smart, and let's try to anticipate what the interviewer will ask based on the background of the interviewer themselves. So I think that mindset also helped me prepare accordingly.